There's a baby in the garden. In the middle of the night, my 4-year-old daughter woke me up. When I went to check, there indeed was a crying baby in the garden. My husband and I just looked at each other, astonished. Then, my daughter said something even more mysterious. "This kid says she's my sister."
Yay!
Next to my smiling daughter, my husband turned pale and started sweating. I didn't miss that. I thought, could this be? It was the beginning of a tumultuous development. I am Megan, 32 years old. A family of 3, my husband Wayne, 3 years my senior, and our 4-year-old daughter, Angela. Megan, it seems Angela started saying strange things again. It was a common occurrence for my husband to sigh with exasperation as he looked at Angela and me. It turns out my daughter seems to have a mysterious ability to talk to animals and babies. I didn't believe it at first either, but it doesn't seem like it can just be a coincidence. For instance, one day, after my daughter had been whispering something to the neighbor's dog, she suddenly looked up with sparkling eyes. "Hey, Mom, the dog says the ice cream vendor is coming soon. I want to eat ice cream." As I was puzzled by her strange words, the ice cream vendor's truck passed by, and I was startled. Also, the day we visited a relative with a 6-month-old baby. My daughter was quietly talking with the baby and giggling. This baby says he hid something shiny under the sofa. Skeptical, I peeked under the sofa and there it was, a ring that our relative had cherished, but thought it was lost. I could give countless such examples, but my husband never believed in our daughter's ability. Megan, Angela, don't say such things to others. It's embarrassing. But I believe that my daughter really had a mysterious power. I thought, but I don't want Angela to be seen as weird by others and be misunderstood or hurt. With that in mind, I had made a promise not to mention it outside our home. Angela was a well-behaved child, and she had kept my request properly. At that time, my husband, who often traveled for work, was away from home about 3 days a week. Therefore, while working, I was mostly raising our overly energetic daughter alone. It was honestly hard, but when my husband was home, I made sure he could relax. The incident began a year ago. Suddenly, $5,000 was withdrawn from our shared bank account. It was the money we had been saving for Angela's education. Shocked, I confronted my husband when he returned from work. "Wayne, what did you use our important money for?" When I pressed him, he shrugged apologetically. "Forgive me. I had an accident on a business trip and suddenly needed money." "What? Are you okay? Did you get hurt?"
Yeah.
"But the car was slightly damaged, so I sent it for repairs. It'll be unusable for about 3 days." Indeed, his car was not in our driveway. I thought, if Wayne is safe, then the money is okay, I guess. I simply told my husband to return the money to our shared account later, deciding not to blame him. However, from that day on, his behavior became increasingly strange. One day he said, "I had trouble at work." And on another day, "I lent money to a friend in need." He kept finding reasons to borrow money from me. "Please. I'll definitely return it next month." Eventually, I trusted him and continued to give him $500 from my wallet every month. But with each passing day, my dissatisfaction with him only grew. There's no sign of the money being returned. How long should I wait? "I'll return it on payday next month." That's what you said last month, too? I felt brushed off and inadvertently let out a deep sigh. Besides her allowance, I was lending him money. But he always complained that he didn't have enough. "I can't lend you any more. Return the $5,000 you took from the account first." "But now's not a good time for me. If I can't borrow from you, then I have no choice but to go to a loan shark." "Wait a minute, you're joking, right? Faced with such a statement, I couldn't refuse and reluctantly took out money from my wallet again. I thought, something's definitely wrong. There can't be work troubles or friends in need of money every month. My distrust of my husband gradually grew, and I started having stomach pains from the stress. During one such night, Mom, wake up. There's a baby in the garden. Angela? That can't be. Are you dreaming? I tried to go back to sleep, but my daughter persistently shook me awake. What's all this noise? It's annoying. While my husband was grumpily scolding Angela, I clearly heard a baby crying. What? That can't be. Isn't it just a neighbor's baby? The baby is saying that she is in the garden. We have to go quickly. Saying that, our daughter ran out of the bedroom. My husband and I followed her as she headed towards the veranda with a view of the garden. The crying grew louder. When we reached the veranda, illuminated by the light, there was a baby wrapped in a blanket in our garden. Who would leave a baby in our garden? Even as a prank, this is too much. While we were shocked and flustered, our daughter was jumping up and down in joy. This kid says she's my sister.
Yay!
What? Stop saying weird things. I was taken aback, but my husband scolded our daughter loudly, perhaps too much. Yet Angela, unfazed, hands on her hips, looked up at him. It's true. She's my sister. Defiant, our daughter spoke back to her father with no intention of backing down. I was just standing there, stunned, watching them argue. Just then, my husband's phone, which was in his pocket, vibrated. I saw his eyes widen and his face turn pale as he looked at the screen. I thought, what was that expression about? But this was no time for such thoughts. Hey, we need to call the police. No, wait. Let's bring the baby inside first. It's cold out, and it's night, right? Despite it being normal to report this to the police in such situations, I still felt something odd about my husband's behavior. While suspicious, I picked up the baby, brought her inside, and wrapped her gently in a blanket, soothing her. If my daughter's mysterious abilities and her words were to be believed, then there's no doubt this baby is her sister. However, I haven't been pregnant or given birth since Angela. That means... I thought, I don't want to believe it, but given Wayne's suspicious behavior so far, it's too fishy. I decided to uncover the truth while keeping a normal demeanor so as not to alert my husband. I'll take her to the police in the morning. Following my husband's words, I agreed to keep the baby at our house for the night. I have work tomorrow, and this strange baby showing up has ruined my mood. I'm going to bed first. Take care of that kid. Without taking responsibility himself, Wayne retreated to the bedroom as if fleeing. Usually, I would be angry, but this time, I saw it as an opportunity and completed all the necessary preparations while he was asleep. I thought, all that's left is to reveal the truth. Despite my thoughts, I couldn't hide my inner turmoil, and my body trembled with anxiety. Sensing my distress, my daughter gently held my hand. It's okay, Mom. I am on your side. Thank you, Angela. Perhaps my daughter doesn't understand what's happening between my husband and me. Still, I gathered my resolve for Angela's sake and faced my husband head-on. Thus, the long night ended, and we greeted the morning. As soon as he woke up, my husband was visibly panicked. I've been suddenly called into work. I'll go to the police when I get back, so look after her during the day. After saying that, he left early in the morning without even having breakfast. Take care, see you. As always, I sent off my husband with a smile. Once Wayne left the house, got into his car, and drove off, I immediately took action. First, I took my daughter and the baby to my parents' home about an hour away by car. Then took out my phone. In fact, while my husband was asleep, I unlocked his phone using his fingerprint and set up a GPS tracker. Relying on that, I drove to the location. I arrived at an old wooden apartment building. Not sure which room it was, I walked slowly, listening at each door until I heard a man and a woman arguing in a room on the first floor. "So why did you leave the baby at our place? And what was that message about?" The voice scolding the other was my husband's familiar tone. Just as the words said. "I wrote, take care of the child. Didn't you read the message properly? Or do you lack comprehension?" The woman's voice, defiant against Wayne, echoed out to the hallway. I listened for a while, but their argument showed no signs of ending. I thought, this is definitely the room. Convinced, I grabbed the doorknob of the room where the voices were coming from. The door, apparently unlocked, swung open, and my husband looked at me in shock. "Me, Megan. Why are you here?" "Hello, Lisa. My husband often mentions how much he owes you." Ignoring my flustered husband, I politely greeted his affair partner and closed the front door. The woman named Lisa, surprised by my sudden appearance, seemed quite shaken. "Huh? How do you know my name?" "I won't say who, but a certain little girl told me about you." In fact, I had used my daughter Angela's mysterious ability to hear most of the circumstances from the baby. "So, Wayne met Lisa while she was working at a bar during a business entertainment. And they got along well enough to have a child? How do you know all that? What, did you hire a detective or something?" I can't believe it. In stark contrast to my visibly disturbed husband, his affair partner seemed emboldened, almost defiant. "Wayne, have you been taking money from me all this time for the baby's birth and upbringing costs?" "No, that's not only that, but you've been living with Lisa?" In the entrance, there were sandals and shoes that seemed to belong to my husband. As I went to pick them up, Wayne quickly snatched them from me. "Your suspicious behavior is the best proof of all, Wayne." "Oh no." As I glared at him, my husband trembled and turned pale. Wayne had used the $5,000 withdrawn from our savings for Lisa's hospital stay and cesarean section. And he had been paying her a monthly child support of $500. Moreover, pretending to be on business trips. He had been staying at her place 3 days a week, making a fool of me all this while. As I mentioned this, my husband was so shocked that he stood with his mouth agape. "And do you know the real reason behind this baby chaos is? Because Lisa is getting engaged to a venture company president?" "What? So, you left the baby at our house because she became a burden, right?" Lisa had left the baby in our garden late at night and sent a message to my husband. I had seen that message myself when I unlocked his phone. He probably didn't expect that I would know all this. My husband instinctively reached for the pocket where he had put his phone, looking startled. "Is that why you desperately tried to stop me from calling the police?" How much do you know?" Sweat broke out on Wayne's forehead, like a frog stared down by a snake. Meanwhile, Lisa began to nervously glance at her watch. "Can you please take your marital spat elsewhere? I have a date soon, so can you both leave?" "Oh, speaking as if it's none of your business. After meddling with someone else's husband, do you think you won't face any consequences? And to think you'd abandon your own child. I mean, it was just a fling with Wayne, and getting pregnant was a mistake. But now I'm resetting my life by marrying a president." My husband, too, was stunned by her selfish rationale. "That's not something you can just accept. What are you thinking, pushing the baby onto me? Stop complaining, it's your fault for getting me pregnant. Now hurry up and put your shoes on." Lisa continued to push my husband physically, not letting him say anything. Lisa, you are the father, so you should take responsibility and raise her. Your daughter will be happy to have a sister, right? As a parent myself, her remarks were unforgivable, and I clenched my fists tightly. Just when I thought I might slap her, I heard a car engine. I opened the front door and looked out onto the street to see a luxury car driving towards the apartment. Then, the car stopped right next to the apartment, and a man got out saying, "Lisa, you weren't at our meeting place, so I came to pick you up."
Oh no.
You came already. From the panicked state of Lisa, it was clear this man was her new fiancé, the president of the venture company. That's when an idea struck me. Hello there. Actually, my husband has been under Lisa's care. I greeted the fiancé brightly, and he looked confused. Wait, what are you doing? As Lisa hurried to stop me while trying to put on her shoes, I quickly approached the man. Actually, last night, Lisa left her child, born between her and my husband, in our garden. So we came together to talk about the situation. Before Lisa could cover my mouth, I spilled the beans. The fiancé was shocked and looked at her suspiciously, saying, "I was told Lisa was single. It's all lies. Don't believe a word she says." Lisa was sweating and frantically making excuses. But the venture company president wanted to hear more details, so I revealed everything I knew. During this, Lisa tried to deflect, but I overpowered her and told everything. "What kind of woman are you?" Then Lisa's fiancé coldly said to Lisa, "I'm sorry, but I can't deal with a liar like you. Don't contact me ever again." With that, he got into his car. As a president, he would naturally want to avoid such scandals. Wait, there's more to it. Let me explain, please. Lisa tried to cling to the car, but I stopped her. And her fiancé drove off without even rolling down the window.
Oh no.
My rosy future as a president's wife. She collapsed to her knees, then suddenly looked up at Wayne. "Hey, Wayne, sorry about this, let's stay on good terms, okay? Let's take back the child from this woman and live happily as a family of 3 again." She leaned against my husband, batting her eyes and acting sweetly. I thought, what a person, it's not like I stole anything. She left the child in our yard on her own. As I stood agape at her sudden change of attitude, Wayne, finally fed up with being manipulated by Lisa, scowled and glared at her. "Don't mess around. I can't deal with you anymore." As my husband firmly pushed away the woman clinging to him, his affair partner bore a demonic expression. "What? What do you mean? I'm offering to make up with you." Enraged, Lisa scratched my husband's face with her nails, sparking a violent scuffle between them. I watched in silence for a while, but there was no end in sight. I thought, neither of them is better than the other. A deep sigh escaped my lips as I decided I wanted no further part in their quarrel. I deliberately clapped my hands loudly to make my presence felt. "All right, enough. Stop it right there." Exasperated, I intervened to break them up. In any case, I will be claiming property division. Wayne, you can expect a divorce to be part of that package. Come on, spare me. Don't talk about separating. You must be joking. I don't have money to pay her. They both turned on me, but as I looked on coldly, they gradually calmed down. "Megan, I am truly, truly sorry. I'll break it off with this woman, so please, cheer up. I'm not just sulking. I'm done with you, don't you get it? Don't say that, let's talk, just the 2 of us." No way. After what had happened, there was no way I could forgive him. I stood firm in my resolve. "Ma'am, I'll raise the baby myself, so can you just forget about the money, please?" Raising your own child is a basic parental duty. But I don't want to hear excuses. My voice filled with anger, and finally, my husband and his mistress knelt down and begged for forgiveness. Observing them, I realized how completely my feelings for my husband had cooled. You should regret what you've done. Pay the property division, even if you have to borrow the money. I can't stand the thought of never seeing Angela again. You brought this on yourself. Don't come any closer. As he was supposed to be kneeling, my husband suddenly looked up and gripped my hand tightly. He looked at me with a face full of sorrow. Listen, Megan. If we divorce, Angela will be sad too. Using our daughter as a shield is exactly what I despise about you. I'll make sure she forgets she ever had a father like you. As I coldly stated this, his grip loosened, and I took the opportunity to pull my hand away. What am I supposed to do if you leave me? Survive on your own strength. I'll send the divorce papers to this address later. As I walked away from the two still kneeling at the entrance, I noticed a crowd had gathered around the apartment. I thought, the door was left open, so they heard everything, huh? The apartment was overflowing with residents and neighbors whispering. Did you hear about the affair, and how disgraceful? With the whole spectacle witnessed by so many onlookers, Lisa would find it hard to continue living in this apartment. Honestly, I couldn't care less about what would happen to her. I quickly left the scene, drove my car, and returned to my parents' home, where I had left my daughter and the baby. Later, I received a total of $50,000 as property division from the two of them. Furthermore, after divorcing my husband and gaining custody of our daughter, I decided to raise my daughter at my parents' home. Thus, I entrusted my parents with childcare during the day while I went to work. Moreover, since Lisa refused to raise the baby in the garden, I decided to take the child in myself. Lisa's complete lack of responsibility continued to astound me. Eventually, my husband and Lisa, unable to endure the gossip of the neighbors, moved away from that apartment. But they constantly fought, soon separated. And I heard through the grapevine that both were chased by debt collectors. The baby's name is Mia. She is growing up healthy and strong. Angela is thrilled to have a little sister. Mia is happy to have a kind mom too. I resolved to cherish and raise these two children I had been blessed with.